think the book is downstairs, actually. All right. Oh man, it's actually not downstairs. Where is it? Backpack? Yep, here it is. So, I'm not gonna say her name, but somebody who watches my channel because she's a student of Dr. Job. Ooh. My teacher. She saw that I was putting together Dr. Job's book, which is on Amazon now. First, it's a final draft. It could probably be better. Did the best I could for now. Anyway, she said, "Oh, you know, I wrote a book. Would you transcribe it for me?" So here it is. I tried this the other day, but the program I was using, when I would say period, comma, and things like that, it would type the word out. And then I would have to like go back, and the whole purpose of me using the vocal transcription was to not have to type, make it way easier. So I figured out that by using Google Drive, I can do the same thing. Now I'm gonna read the whole thing, Pete. I'm gonna read the whole thing, start to finish tonight. The book is called Verminesque. Verminesque, maybe it's Verminesque, by Carl E. Licio. Carly Licio. Or is that an A? Carly Licio, looks like an O. And also Kata Nufi Choo Choo. This actually looks like maybe it's one word. Nufi Choo Choo. Pen names to protect me. For my sweet daughter Vivian, who was caught in the crossfire. Drive can do this right here. Voice typing. Click to speak. There are those who are so unhappy with their lives that they want to destroy the whole world and take as many with them as they can, period. They are usually infected with parasitic, brainworms, comma, but every one of them are flesh eaters, period. New paragraph. These people, comma, on seeing the joy in a vegan or an innocent soul, feel it imperative to turn their mood into what the predator feels inside. Period. It must be a mirror image of the torture they suffer inside, or there will be no respite. Period. The motto being, quote, if I'm feeling rotten, comma, you will too, quote, period. To hold the peace, the victim must realize that they are interacting with a brain parasite, comma, and not the host, comma, who is prompted by the nibbles and twists and stretches of the invading parasite, comma, who may live 30 years or more in the host, period. New paragraph. This manipulation of the host can extend to sexual incontinence so as to provide the parasite with a fresh host for its young, comma, or an attack on the victim's character so that the predator may feel justified and therefore comfortable with such antisocial behavior, period. New paragraph. This antisocial behavior may take the form of an accusation at first, comma, in a so-called attempt to check for dishonesty in the victim, period. When this proves unsuccessful, then a more stealthy approach becomes the go-to modus operandum, period. This will manifest as a kindly offer of help or a gift of some kind, period. This offer is always made with a gushing smile, period. Seldom is the gift of true value, comma, usually being so flawed it is unusable, period. The assistance has its own flaws, dash, conditions to be met which hinder or injure the victim, comma, and always end up blaming the victim for stupidity or some form of inadequacy that results in penalty, period. No complaints will be tolerated, period. The flaw must be turned back onto the victim, period. Only the predator is capable and / or deserving of such higher aspirations, period. This will result in the labeling of the victim as demented, comma, insane, comma, or narcissistic, comma, when, comma, in reality, comma, the reverse is the fact, period. New paragraph. If these labels are not successful, then the next, quote, appropriate, end quote, tactic in the war on innocence / veganism becomes systematic insults, period. A more obvious contempt ensues where even a compliment takes on a sinister quality. If in the workplace, comma, even the best work is tainted with an inferior mark, comma, and the, quote, could have done better, end quote, bywords become the general prognosis toward the victim, period. What the hell? New page? What happened? What happened here? All that, where did we, the reverse is the fact. Okay, so it's only one paragraph, but, Why? Let's see. Format. Zoom out here. Format. Google Documents. I'm typing a... Really? You're just going to stop me from speaking? You mother... All right. So what am I going to say? I'm trying to type a book on Google Documents and came to the end of the first page, but I can't start a new page. Create a new document. Insert. Page count. All right. New page. Here we go. What? Why is this page 2 though? That doesn't make sense. Oh God, really? Oh my. Holy. Position footer. All right. Footer format. All right. I dictating a book that somebody wrote. It's about parasites. All right, here we go. If these labels are not successful, then the next, quote, appropriate, end quote, tactic in the war on innocence slash... Why is this not working? Oh, I forgot to... Here we go. If these labels are not successful, then the next, quote, appropriate, end quote, tactic in the war on innocence slash veganism becomes systematic insults, period. A more obvious contempt ensues where even a compliment takes on a sinister quality, period. If in the workplace, comma, even the best work is tainted with an inferior mark, comma, and the, quote, could have done better, end quote, bywords become the general prognosis toward the victim, period. New paragraph. The trouble with predatory, parentheses, meat eaters, parentheses, souls, comma, is that they assume everyone is as dishonest, comma, cruel, comma, violent, comma, vengeful, and ill-tempered as they, parentheses, secretly, parentheses, are, period. New paragraph. Scapegoating. Scapegoating. New paragraph. Since carnivores prey on flesh and tend to see all other animals as slaves, comma, they always have an end result as death for the other animal. Period. With the pretense of living in a civilized society, comma, however, comma, a certain protocol of respectability must be adhered to, period. Not to say that this respectability can stop cheating or corruption at every level, comma, but the prey must be dehumanized if they are to be taken, period. This is where scapegoating comes in, colon, parentheses, handy, parentheses, period. New paragraph. To break down dissent against attacking and devouring a prey, comma, the victim must first be degraded, comma, shamed, comma, and preferably hated, period. This makes it easier to demoralize them and prepare them for slaughter, period. Ridicule is a popular tool, comma, since this shames the victim and sets the stage for the popularity of the predator versus the stupidity, parentheses, dumbness, parentheses, of the prey, period. New paragraph. The fact that these predators act out worse behavior or similar so-called, quote, mistakes, quote, which they call, quote, bad, quote, comma, is a hypocrisy which they quickly ignore, period. Should a predator question mark question mark comma, or fall short of the mark, they are praised for their work as if they had never made a mistake, period. On occasion, comma, victims may be praised for their work, comma, but only if it is some task which the predator can't copy or is considered too dirty, comma, base, comma, or low class for the family and friends of the predator to partake in, period. In the case of such menial and disgusting work, comma, the victim will be given only light ridicule, comma, feigned attacks, comma, but will be given the most toxic vegan food if the predator has access to the vegan's food supply, period. New paragraph. The most vituperative habit of the human predator, however, is to blame the victim for the very crimes they are committing, period. It is so frequent a habit that it almost bears a chapter of its own, period. The motive behind it is to have someone to pay the price for their well-known offenses, period. Particularly when the predator is feeding the pinch of being observed by others who may finally make them pay the price for their activities, comma, then they go full out to frame the victim, period. The more innocent, the better. Period. Children may be caught in the crossfire at this point, but their level of innocence and vulnerability often make them irresistible, period. Of course, the child's life may be easily be ruined, but to quote a famous predator, quote, all's fair in love and war, quote, period. All's fair in love and war, period, quote. New paragraph. If the innocent has no way out, the predator will either buy their silence or force it with threats and violence, period. If this continues for years, the victim may become even more perverted than the predator. Always looking for ways to pass the blame, therefore finding victims of their own. Period. New paragraph. The 50s series, quote, The Three Stooges, quote, exemplifies this echoing behavior so that no one can claim to be normal, parentheses, even though they usually do, parentheses, simply to stay alive in the cesspool of resentment and injury they cause on a daily basis, period. New paragraph. Carnivores see absolutely no flaw in their persecution of vegans whom they consider weak and defective for not being able to stomach murder and slavery on their plate, period. The headaches and poor digestion they suffer from eating such a heinous diet are always poo-pooed away by explanations readily given by carnivores' health professionals. Hi, Madison. Seldom are any taught the connection between animal product consumption and the abundance of parasites in the brain and gut or lungs and liver, period. Diseases treated in third world countries for pennies are a costly proposition in advanced nations, and the young and innocent who suffer from such maladies are labeled, quote, genetically defective, quote, a term which only invites further scapegoating, period. New paragraph. I'm dictating this book for a subscriber. It's called Verminescu, I guess. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Oh, God. I wonder how much I'll be able to get through. Carnality. New paragraph. There is no coincidence that the word, quote, carnal, quote, doubles for flesh and sexual activity, period. There has been a long-known connection between eating of flesh and animal products and a propensity for hypersexual activity, period. New paragraph. Adultery, common, child molestation, comma, what happened? The fuck? And a propensity for hypersexual activity, period. New paragraph. Adultery, comma, child molestation, comma, incest, comma, and rape, the four crimes associated with the, quote, for unlawful carnal knowledge, quote, parentheses, FUCK, parentheses, death sentence found on gravestones were committed by worm-eaten, parasite-infested carnivores, period. Why is this not? Worm-eaten, parasite-infested carnivores, period. New paragraph. Many studies by world-leading parasitologists conclude, without error, that when a parasite has completely colonized one human, comma, it prompts that host, comma, the carnivore, to infect another human, period. There is no more effective way to accomplish this aim than to engage in a sex act, period. This is pissing me off here. Than a sex act, period. The parasite will stimulate sex hormones to be released and excitation to be aroused in order to carry out the exploration of a, quote, new world, quote, period. One has to question if the human is capable of independent thought and should the parasite be put to death, period. New paragraph. New paragraph. To the observer, it is unconscionable to witness the predator blame the victim for being, quote, being too cute. Alright, I gotta get a microphone. This is bullshit. Hold on a second. Be right back. Piss me off. I don't know where my microphone is. Molly. Oh, wait. No, that's not it. Oh, it is in here. Duh. Alright. Let's see if this works. $5 microphone from Five Below. Can you use AI or are you here for the full experience? Yeah, I'm full experience. Let's see if this works. Alright. Well, let's see how she goes.
ribbit.
To the observer, it is unconscionable to witness the predator blame the victim for, quote, being too cute, quote, or, quote, they were just irresistible, quote, period. At some point, the whole of society recognizes that this is a form of madness and finds labels for it such as, quote, demon-possessed, quote, or, quote, psychopathic, quote, or, quote, inhuman, quote, comma. All being true in the case of the parasite, which knows it will kill the host, but wishes to milk the last nutrients from the carnivore/omnivore before it does, period. This usury is seen in the exploitation of dairy cows for their milk and the selling of their blood-fed calves for veal, period. Really? This usury is seen in the exploitation of dairy cows for their milk and the selling of their blood-fed calves for veal, period. A cow which used to live 30 years now lives for only 3 years before going to slaughter, period. New paragraph. We as omnivores find this action justifiable in our society because the judges are carnivores, comma, the jury are carnivores, comma, and the complainants are often carnivores too youthful to comprehend their dilemma, period. New paragraph. The permutations of the big four, colon, rape, comma, incest, comma, adultery, comma, and child molesting are literally endless and have spurred entire industries such as prostitution, comma, pornography, comma, human and child trafficking, and religious orders that authorize violence and rape and child rape as a sane means of dealing with a parasitic brain infection, period. Most humans have had to deal with some type of sexual exigency in their lifetimes, comma, and have had detrimental results, comma, often bringing them to the conclusion that they need a new religion, dash, a true religion, period. New paragraph. All of the most popular religions in the world today begin with an admonishment to eat fruit rather than meat, dash, and seed-bearing fruit at that, period. But somehow, each of these religions find reasons to break this prime directive, and all idolize the sacrifice of their body, parentheses, human sacrifice, parentheses, in a willing death as the highest form of tribute one can pay one's family, comma, society, comma, religion, comma, country, etc., period. Some cultures even recommend open cannibalism, comma, and advanced nations send their special forces for secret training, period. Some religions inside religions accept sexual relations with a child as young as 9 years old, and others encourage the child to sexually experiment as young as age 7, period. New paragraph. A vein that one modern religious sect claims they have many vegans among them, parentheses, although you never meet them, parentheses, and condones sex with a mother of a child by another man, period. But if you have sex with her daughter, you must marry the daughter, period. New paragraph. Indeed, the carnality has a tendency toward the most brutal and cruel of men having the largest collection of females, period. Note not women, but females, since so many of the females are legally girls, period. New paragraph. And boys do not fare well under these strange sexual mores, period. So many young men, when attaining puberty, have legs and arms broken for suggesting they create their own stable of fillies, period. New paragraph. These young men are quickly dispatched to another neighborhood, region, or state to acquire females in their conquest for a family, period. Wars are simply a byproduct of the expeditious dispatch of other suitors, period. New paragraph. The particular animal which that religious cult consumes often determines how the family will be treated, period. In point of fact, one can guess the animal that has been sacrificed by the rituals of the perpetrating predator, period. Specific parasites will determine definite activities or methodologies, as it were, period. The sickness reaches a crescendo when the parasites fill the host with their fecal matter, period. New paragraph. Usually predators prefer vegans as a food source. Period. There are less parasites in vegans, so the chances of getting sick are lessened, period. However, a certain amount of plant material is required by all animals in their diets, even the strictest of carnivores, the cat will eat the intestines of the vegan to get the partially digested plant matter, period. Since the cat has a digestive tract 1/3 the length of a comparative animal such as a deer, it is unable to process the chlorophyll in the same way, period. New paragraph. The cat's digestive tract, being so short, will not accommodate the parasites in their speedy passage through its alimentary canal, period. New paragraph. New paragraph. You motherfucker. New paragraph. Should a human, who has the alimentary canal with a similar length to that of a deer, consume such a fleshy fare, the parasites have 3 times the time and 3 times the distance to disembark into new and living territory, period. Because they all enjoy fresh blood, comma, and the nutrients, parentheses, intended for the host, parentheses, it carries, period, the life in the blood that the parasites steal away, period. New paragraph. Vegans will always be the prime target of predators due to these basic tenets, period. Tastier, comma, less infected flesh, comma, a digestible chlorophyll source in the alimentary canal, comma, and a healthy glow with an attitude of innocence, period. A carnal smorgasbord. New paragraph. Envy. New paragraph. A strange topic to address in the vegan/carnivore saga, comma, but the reason it becomes evident when the glorious health of a vegan compared to that of the predatory carnivorous human, period. New paragraph. New paragraph. You motherfucker! New paragraph. Since we already know that nature did not design the human body to consume flesh foods, we find ourselves between two camps, colon, those that know this and those that do not, period. New paragraph. The vegans may have learned to adhere to a frugivore diet by obeying scripture written in the past 2,000 years, period. They may have been victims of medical experimentation during wars where they were penalized for a pacifist mentality and/or an unwillingness to take another human life, period. Vegans may have been born into a vegan household or turned vegan due to allergies they may have recognized. Suffering in farm animals and refused to put murder or slavery on their plate, period. New paragraph. Vegans in general know that animal products are not good for their bodies, minds, or spirits, period. Their only weakness is their sentient awareness and strong belief that every soul has a right to its own destiny, period. New paragraph. The second camp, the predatory omnivore/carnivore, tend to be either unaware that an animal-based diet is causing them to have a much shorter lifespan than is possible for their body, or they are aware, comma, but their support system will not permit change on their part, period. The usual reason is that they have to die somehow and they enjoy the taste, period. Their support system validates this by the usual religious claptrap that they are serving an entity which will save them from pain and suffering and transport them off the face of the earth, period. New paragraph. They usually do not recognize suffering or pain in other animals unless there is an opportunity for recognition as a do-gooder, exposing an individual with a takeover goal in mind, period. Seldom do these so-called heroes take on corporations that pollute the environment, comma, destroy food supply on a large scale, comma, or cripple the human body with chemical waste passed off as a preservatives, period. The second camp will act only as controlled opposition in cases such as these, comma, and take up popular battles that have become evident to the general populace, but not the issues that really could save billions of lives, period. For instance, one famous physician's wife took years to compile a video of all the naturopaths, comma, chiropractors, and other diet-based healers were being murdered, period. The list compiled about 100 individuals whose lives were ended when they went up against Big Pharma, period. Her husband is a big enemy of distilled water, which is known to wash much disease-causing detritus from the human body, period. New paragraph. Hi, Vanessa. I'm not that good today, to be honest. But I'm doing my work. What could be a factor in this facade of decency hiding in a murderous agenda? Question mark. We have arrived at our motive, envy, period. New paragraph. Breaking down this envy brings us quickly to a fear-based mentality, period. Eastern faiths, which abstain from all animal products, suggest this fear springs from the expectation of retribution, period. A deep-seated subconscious knowledge that they have caused the enslavement, suffering, betrayal, and death of their dinner, period. I'm dictating this book, handwritten by a subscriber, and she requested that I help her out with this, since she saw that I had done it for my teacher. And that anyone shining a light on their sponsorship of this bankrupt system needs to be taken out and silenced, just like the delicious animals they had for lunch last week, period. Everybody's got to die, just a matter of when, the law of the jungle, period. Such a dog-eat-dog outlook harbors a fondness for cannibals, adrenochrome junkies, vampirism, and the latest addiction to cerebrospinal fluid, period. New paragraph. One has to ask, what exotic parasites are in charge of their mental operation, period. But we do have the answer, and it is hidden, in plain sight, but is so well guarded and with so very much at stake that it takes the rest of this book to explain, period. New paragraph. Medical madness. New paragraph. Ribbit. Recently, a racial minority claimed their women were having problems having healthy children and keeping them alive, period. They requested a stipend for these women from the district government so these women would not have to work and they could take extra care of their babies who seldom lived past the age of 1 year, period. On the surface, this would seem like a reasonable claim until one does research on their archipelago origin, period. They already received these stipends on their sea-bound homes, and this was begun by royalty who were trying to make an impression of generosity to their subjects, period. New paragraph. These are the same people who used a government helicopter to plunder the last running stream on one of their islands so they could have the remaining crawdads for supper. Period. We're just bad kids, indulge us, why don't you, ? We learned this tactic from the fire department whose search and rescue boats were used to haul the endangered oysters from the sea while they were protected from all fishing at that time of year, period. Above the law we are, since we are blue bloods, period. If an innocent were to get in the way of their illegal drug running, they are warned they need to be dumped off the leeward end where the channel's deep and the sharks are big, period. No evidence for illegal drug trading, period. New paragraph. One has to realize that all these drugs temporarily remove the pain of a parasitic infection and also the guilt of a predatory way of life. And also the guilt of a predatory way of life. Why isn't this working? And also the guilt of a predatory way of life. Period. Dot. Period. 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 New paragraph. Now for the medical drugs and the treatment associated with them. Period. Where does the medicine come from? Question mark. From two sources mainly, period. One, comma, highly processed mining waste, comma, and two, body secretions of animals, comma, including humans, period. New paragraph. When we follow the money, we learn that mining companies sell their waste to chemical companies who use it to poison the land, then sell their waste to pharmaceutical companies who get free advertising on the 5 o'clock news since they are all owned by the same banks. Period. New paragraph. This is a handwritten book that I'm transcribing for a subscriber, Tyler. I published a book for my teacher, Dr. Jubb, on Amazon. Let's see if I can. Amazon.com, Dr. David Jubb, Jubb's Cell Rejuvenation, Healing Metabolic Neuropathy. No, not Jobs, it's Jubb. Jubbs. Let's see here. David Jubb books. Let's see if it's up here. There it is. Jubb Cell Rejuvenation. Correcting metabolic neuropathy, fungal infection, and celiac in human disease. Colloidal biology and the new theory of blood formation, see Jubb's Cell Rejuvenation, and dark and bright field microscopy forwards a view that on an anti-mold program, metabolic neuropathic condition clinically and empirically is seen to be cleared up. Construct validity of such is outlined herein, that has as its basis a clearing away of all dysbiotic life colloid, spore, bacteria, mold, fungus, and yeast by applying Jubb Cell Rejuvenation. So it's basically how to heal mental conditions by cleansing. So anyway, my subscriber saw me do that, and so she requested that I transcribe this book for her. And I'm using Google Documents to do that. Google Docs. It has something called voice typing. So I press this button over here, and I got an external microphone. And it's not perfect, but good enough for a rough draft, I guess. It's no coincidence that choice land worldwide is leased or sold for a pittance, with the stipulation that products must be produced for processing at metals foundries, period. If you don't meet your quota, you lose your land, period. We will deal with this in a later chapter, period. New paragraph. New paragraph. Back to medical products, period. There always seems to be a never-ending supply of medicine due to chemical waste, which happens to have a particular effect on the body, period. A ribbit. In the 1930s and 40s, a medical doctor could prescribe simple remedies, even urine for healing, period. A psychiatrist was trained as a general physician, followed by 4 years of psychology, period. New paragraph. Today, a doctor is trained to look up symptoms in a PDR, parentheses, physician's desk reference, parentheses, and prescribe the allotted drugs, period. Seldom do they worry about drug interactions with other drugs, since this has increasingly become the responsibility of the patient themselves, and more likely than not, interactions are blamed on simple healing foods such as fruit, period. New paragraph. A psychiatrist today learns a general physician's degree, followed by 4 years of how drugs influence the body, specifically the brain, period. There is little expectation of a patient ever getting off psych meds once they are on them, period. This is a lifetime condition with no recovery, only control, period. Never to seldom is a patient recommended a change of diet, period. How bizarre, exclamation point. New paragraph. But doctors must be seen as effective by the outside world, or quickly there'd be no patients to treat, period. This is where urine comes in, period. Urine forcibly taken from cows, pigs, and horses with catheters sewn into their ureters, so they must stand or lie down until they die or stop producing, period. Human urine is taken by deception, as in the case of portable toilets. In the case of portable toilets, it's not working. In the case of portable toilets, or as a way to bring income to cloistered individuals such as nuns, etc., period. New paragraph. For example, Urine eye drops were / perhaps still are made from mare urine, period. Back in the 30s, there was no need to hide it from the market name, period. New paragraph. Urokinase, the noted blood thinner, is made from urine from men's catch basins in portable toilets, period. Parentheses. Women's is harder to separate from the feces. Parentheses. New paragraph. Premarin, the postmenopausal cuteness drug, is made from the urine of pregnant mares, period. New paragraph. Pergonal, the fertility drug, is made from urine of postmenopausal Italian nuns, period. What the fuck? Pergonal, The fertility drug is made from urine of postmenopausal Italian nuns, period. New paragraph. In cultures where urine therapy is used, none of these drugs is necessary, comma, and infertile couples are told to drink each other's urine. Period. New paragraph. Children are told in elementary schools that urine is a waste product specifically because drug companies have sponsored their education, period. Pharmaceutical control from cradle to grave, period. New paragraph. By the time a physician realizes what a racket they have become involved in, comma, they owe $500,000 or more in student loans and who knows what for their office bills, comma, their mortgage, comma, and their reliable vehicles, period. Most usually bend with the wind to avoid the homeless shelter and the soup kitchen, period. New paragraph. Many indigenous tribes sell the urine of babies for a good price to those in the know, and cosmetics that contain urea are most often from tortured animals, yet the most effective at healing injury and irritation, comma, and of course, the most expensive, period. Once again, at the cost of usually vegan animals, period. New paragraph. Why use the most costly methods to remove the accumulation of animal products and mining waste from the human and veterinary body, such as curettage and more poison other than to feed the greed of scalpel-happy dope dealers in white coats? Question mark. New paragraph. This methodology is epitomized in the new wave of medical marijuana establishments gripping the throat of the civilized world, much as opium dens in the last century, period. Instead of dietary change and fasting to cope with the infestation of blood-hungry cestodes, comma, the pharmaceutical companies are making record profits dispensing a, quote, all-natural, quote, genetically modified plant which blurs the boundaries of sexuality between male and female and destroys the overall health of both, period. How can anyone justify such overweight males with female breasts in a vibrant, hale community? Question mark. New paragraph. When we have fluorified long touted as the most effective ingredient in rat poison, but recommended by dentists worldwide, period. Little wonder they have the highest suicide rates of any profession, period. Fluoride also causes mottling of the teeth, and ugly discoloration, which is all but reversible. Then, of course, a brittling of the skeletal bones, period. What an unexpected bonus for treatment for a toothache or an annual dental checkup, period. Some of the anesthetics used can cause spontaneous abortion or miscarriage, take your pick, not to mention the same with x-rays, period. And what dentist will work without a set of x-rays? Question mark. New paragraph. Post and crowns will regularly infect the jawbone and cause loss of teeth a decade or so down the road, period. New paragraph. Juvenile braces will often break or shatter the tooth enamel to which they are glued, causing ugly fillings to be added to the tooth fascia in only a few years. Children are seldom defended or represented in damages like these. Period. Innocents are the best targets for smile predators. Period. New paragraph. Some of these dental, quote, professionals, quote, claim they were trained to ridicule children who have adverse reactions to dental materials used, period. Silver amalgam fillings whose main ingredient is mercury, period. Yes, comma, that stuff you find in a thermometer, comma, which, comma, if dropped and broken in a hospital, comma, 2 floors must be evacuated, period. Mercury has a nasty habit of gasifying under pressure and settling into organs all over the body, comma, causing common cancers which tend toward fatality. Period. And let's not forget to link these chemical to mining, colon, mercury is the main byproduct of mining gold, comma, and fluoride is the main byproduct of mining aluminum. The fuck? Oh, wow. All that I just said, you bastard. Gotta keep my eye on this shit. Why does it just conk out like that? Mercury, period. Yes, comma, that stuff you find in a thermometer, comma, which, comma, if dropped and broken in a hospital, comma, 2 floors must be evacuated, period. Mercury has a nasty habit of gasifying under pressure and settling into organs all over the body, comma, causing common cancers which tend toward fatality, period. Very bad. And let's not forget to link these chemicals to mining, colon. Mercury is the main byproduct of mining gold, comma, and fluoride is the main byproduct of mining aluminum, period, period, period. New paragraph. New paragraph. You fucker. New paragraph. In every capital of every nation, these mining waste representatives lobby for the permission to dump on our land, comma, waters, comma, skies, comma, and use our bodies as filters for Dros? Is that a word? Dros? So toxic that if emptied in local rivers would kill all fish on contact, period. The companies even have the gall to advertise their actors drinking their product, comma, which has caused 300,000 suicides in India alone, comma, by drinking their product, period. New paragraph. But even today, first world psychologists are prescribing drugs, period. Never before in a field with 160 disciplines of talk therapy do we find a need for altered consciousness. Chemically induced, period. Perhaps this is to numb us from all the lies we have been told and make us malleable again to get that last erg of work from us. Question mark. New paragraph. Who to blame for this medical madness? Question mark. All vegans are exempt from blame since they have no dog in this fight. Only carnivores, otherwise known as omnivores or predators, have the inability to see the soul-destroying cruelty, the no way out cage they have built around the patient, period. Only predators are too stupid to see what is at stake in this all-out crippling of human vision, comma, sentience, comma, autonomy, comma, and social unity, period. Divide and conquer, it was called in the 19th and 20th centuries. Period. Using not just the food supply to weaken innocence, but the healing community to hammer the nails in the coffin. Period. New paragraph. So allopathic medicine is a practice of maiming the patient to shorten their lives so they won't be effective against the poisoning and rape of their environment, but they will be healthy enough to assist in its destruction. Period. New paragraph. The law. New paragraph. Sheesh. I think I'm going to pause there. I might be halfway through the book, but maybe not. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 pages in, okay? And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I am halfway done. Should I just bang it out and finish? Halfway done, it's been an hour, so I got another hour of work. What do you think? Let me do a fizzy shot and think about it. You let me know. Type in the chat if you think I should finish. If I should power through. Just get it done. Don't put it off till tomorrow, what you could do today, right? Kind of answering my own question, but how about a little interaction with the chat? I'm lonely. Recently single. After 8 years. Kind of by choice because I'm not pursuing. But it still hurts. Speaking of pharmaceuticals, she's on heavy psychiatric drugs, even though she's vegan. And drinks. So I was batting a little out of my league because she's not better looking than me. She is hot, but she's well established. She has a good job, and she runs in high society circles. So, whereas I'm home on Saturday nights and Friday and Saturday nights, she's out drinking with men with money, women who hang out with men with money, guys in construction. She probably, has one night stands with tattooed construction workers who buy her drinks and Coke. I don't know. I could just be hallucinating, but it's been a month since we've seen each other and texted maybe twice. She said she was going to be around last weekend, and flaked on me last minute, said she was tired. So I'm not expecting any more contact. But it's not so much her that I miss, although we had some great times. It's just, you know, me having to kind of come face to face with my station in life, which is not where a 44-year-old man should be. So it is what it is, you know. You got to hit the bottom before you can climb up, I guess. I guess because it's like a social day, Halloween, and I'm not doing anything. I'm feeling, I don't know if the word is antisocial, but I'm feeling like, you know, lonesome. Anyway, enough sulking. I'll pick myself up. Oh, Jody. Okay, let's see. Happy Halloween to you, Jody, in Colorado. Jody from Colorado, how's it going out there? Rick, you met someone who knows the magic of bicarb. Oh yeah? Congrats, man. You when you say met someone, just like, you mean you met someone as an acquaintance, or you mean like, you know, when people say I met someone, it's like, you know, they're dating? That's a good joke, Jody. Walk a mile in her shoes. You'll be a mile away and you'll have her shoes. That's a good one. Oh, are you saying because I'm criticizing that she's on heavy psychiatric drugs? I'm not criticizing per se. I mean, I just I don't think it's a good fit for me because it separates us. You know, I think I should be with somebody crunchy, somebody who's, she is vegan, but I should be with somebody who's like into the same things as me. Natural healing and, I don't know, weird shit, I guess. Cosplay. It's like, I don't know. It was a good fit, but it's not the perfect fit. And the sex was good enough to make it last. But it's like, you know, you take away the sex from a relationship, what's there? And that's what, that's really the strength of the relationship. So, the drugs that she's on and the fact that she's potentially perimenopausal, meaning starting menopause, because she's 3 years older than me, so she's getting close to 50. I don't know if that's, could be an excuse. I don't know, girls are nice about dumping you, so maybe she's just saying that to like let me down gently. I mean, no hard feelings, you know? My love is true, it always will be. Regardless of where we're together or not, I always want the best for my lovers, and even my enemies, you know, no hard feelings. But anyway, this is a fizzy shot with added Life Hydrate, which is the new product I got from Dr. Judd. Bit of a blabbermouth. I probably revealed too much about my personal life on stream. Probably, yeah. That's an understatement. Definitely. Ooh, there's a seed in here. Get out of there. Freaking ice trapped it. Hiding in the ice. Get back here. Where'd it go? Which way did he go, George? Oh, went down to the bottom. Trying to get away. Get him, Paul. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, man. Taking a bunch of... Ah! Should I just forget about it? I'll let him... The ice protected him. Oh, halfway through this book. I guess I'll just power through. Oh, and then go to bed early instead of doing the news. You like her, but will practice self-restraint with her. Why did that comment get flagged? That's weird. Cool, though. Congrats, Rick. I'm happy for you, man. You're one of my favorite people in this community. You're definitely the most OG. Happy Halloween to you, Jess. Anybody costuming today? Anybody doing costumes? Ooh, I got a message on Instagram. Nope. Never mind. Ew. A giant chocolate filled with sardines? Ugh. Where'd you meet her, Rick? Where'd you meet your new friend? I'll finish the book. I got 14 pages left. Met through the last female I was with, LOL. Oh! You must have did a good job, man. Oh, fuck. I can't be looking at Facebook. People are posting food pictures. I haven't eaten since October 22nd. I'm feeling it today, man. For some reason, I've been waking up before 3 a.m. like the past 3 nights. And I can't go back to sleep, so I get up and then I start doing stuff, and then like I'll get tired again. Like I want to go back to sleep at like 5 or 6, but then like I'm like, shit, this is the time that people start to wake up. I can't go back to sleep now. I'm a bum. I can't be sleeping in. I have to wake up before everybody else because I'm lower than everybody else. Everybody else has jobs. Everybody else takes care of their family. They have kids. They have responsibilities. I have to get to that level. So I'm waking up at, I think it was 2:45 this morning or 2:30. And I'm like, shit, I guess I'm up now. Jokey15. Hi, cutie. Aw, thank you. No shit, your face looks clearer in some way. Can't put my finger on it. Well, I definitely lost a bit of my jowls. Like my face isn't as puffy as it used to be. And if you saw me earlier today, I would look like absolute death. Am I looking for a soulmate? We can talk. We can talk, Jockey. If you're serious, click on my profile. Let me make sure you can do that. If you click on my channel, okay. If you click on my channel, it says contact 24/7. And contact 24/7, and then it has a link. Let's just make sure that's still accurate. Yeah. And then you can contact me off stream. Jokey is gay. Are you a gay male? I'm a straight male, but we can still be friends. I don't necessarily believe in soulmates. I ascribe to something that I call double dragon theory. Double dragon theory, if you've ever seen a DNA helix, is two energies that are going in the same direction and spiraling around each other. So that would be you and I as friends working on a project towards a common outcome. So I don't know, what kind of stuff are you into besides sex? Do you have any like talents, hobbies, specialties, skills, dreams? You just got rejected? Maybe curved? I try to be inclusive, you know. I'm not going to judge you for having a preference. Bailey White says, attribute to a genius. What does that mean, Bailey? Who's the genius? Madison Rodriguez. Hola. Is this the Madison Rodriguez? Nicholas Nickleby. Great expectations. Oh, you just... The Madison Rodriguez? The Maddie Rodriguez? Wait, is Rodriguez your maiden name? Because you look like a white chick. That's your married name, right? You have an exotic look. I remember your face, but not South American exotic. Like Viking exotic. You look like a Valkyrie. Like you could have been a Valkyrie. Do you like drugs or cats? Hola, Boaz. ¿Cómo está? Charles Dickens, the bestest author? All right, if you say so. The only drugs I like, which technically is not drugs, is marijuana oil, which I've been off for over a month now, so. I'm actually fasting and I haven't eaten since October 22nd, so. Yeah, I grew up with cats. I'm not allergic and I don't dislike them, but I don't like them. I just kind of like can't be bothered. Like they always, for me, they come over and they want attention and like you pet them and then like they turn around and they stick their butt like they want me to scratch their asshole. So I'm not really a fan of indoor pets, to be honest. I think animals should be outside. I don't think people should have dogs inside. Yeah, I don't do that kind of stuff, Jess. I think my most recent ex is into that though. Jack Kerouac. Yeah, I'm about to next week, Rick. I'm got everything planned. Next week it's going down. I'm doing a big loop. East Coast, North Side, Pacific Northwest, down through Cali. Gonna get you. Cross the southern states to Florida and then back up. You better get ready. I'm hoping to get a van by the time I hit your area. Yeah, I don't mind dogs, but the thing is, I don't think they should be indoors. I don't consider them humans. Like, my friend Rick, who stayed with me last summer, he goes, dogs are people too. I don't agree. I can see the value and why they're man's best friend, but no. Not inside. They definitely don't need to be indoors. Not at all. Have you estimated when in Cali? Nope. Not even a rough estimate, Rick. I'm playing it by ear. Your dog just died. I'm not saying outside in the cold, jockey. I'm saying out, not in the human house. Get a dog house. Get a barn. Treat them like a horse. You know, they run around the property. They guard. They hunt. I'm sorry to hear that, Bailey. I'm sure it's very tough for you. Sorry about that. You know, I don't mean to be insensitive. I've seen, you know, not that I can't sympathize, but I've seen how it has affected people in their life when a dog dies. So sorry, man. Jockey, you're fat, but is that a complaint? Because you can fix it. You can fix that. If you want help, and that's something I'm good at. Let's see here. Put you in a sauna. Teach you how to eat properly and cleanse. All right, back in the book. $14 pages left. Bailey, you talking to Jockey or you talking to me? Just wondering. I'm not jealous. You guys can talk amongst yourselves in the chat. I don't mind. Initially, governments are set up to protect inhabitants from outside danger, by forming a standard army to defend the indigenous people from alien encroachment, period. It later becomes a burden on these same citizens by taxation and the formation of bylaws which represent only the invaders, period. This may be in the form of kindly refugee assistance, comma, but somehow always afflicts the most dedicated and conscientious of citizens, period. New paragraph. This inevitably brings us to the question of who makes these laws. Question mark. Invariably, meat-eating predators, period. If by an act of a kind and loving God, comma, a vegan makes progress in enacting laws that benefit the innocent, they somehow get enforced by predators, period. We see how vegans get anthrax letters in the mail and are forced to communicate through electronic media, comma, while the predators use all methods, period. New paragraph. This dietary supremacy is echoed in attitudes in courthouses around the globe where forests are destroyed to make room for growing sacrificial animal slaughter, period. The lie is broadcast that most oxygen is made by oceanic activity so that the timber may be used by off-worlders, period. Yes, comma, they did not come only for the gold, period. A world such as theirs passes too closely to our sun every 3,600 years, parentheses, as in Revelation 8:11 and many other theosophical writings, parentheses, to maintain any forests of their own on the surface, period. Why would they care if our planet is denuded like theirs, comma, since they have suffered this fate for 1 million years, dash or so, their records state, period. Look at the title of the stream, guys. I'm dictating a handwritten book by a subscriber because she saw that I dictated this book for my teacher, Job Cell Rejuvenation, Correcting Metabolic Neuropathy, Fungal Infection, and Celiac in Human Disease, which is about healing mental conditions through cleansing, how they're caused and then healed. So this book is called Verminesque. Verminesque, maybe? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And yeah, it's definitely a volunteer job. She said she would send me money in the mail. I said that's okay. She'll probably send it anyway. But yeah, I got a couple of phones. Bailey, I got a couple of phones. I'm doing this on my computer because I want to make a stream out of it, and I want to read the book also. At least 1K. Now, it's only a 30-page. It's 30 of these books. It's 2 hours of work. And she's poor. She's on food stamps. She doesn't have money. Are you rich? 1,000. Jeez, I haven't seen $1,000 in a long time, bro. New paragraph. They have such a superiority complex. Why would they not expect us to bow down to their laws? Period, period, period. New paragraph. And it doesn't stop with just forests and gold, period. Indeed, comma, their water evaporates on close orbit around our sun, and Sirius B, 1,800 years later on the sling shot, period. Their life form, like ours, requires 70% or more H2O to stay healthy, period. Of course, the laws imposed upon the human community reflect this rape of our environment enacted through corporate pressure, period. New paragraph. Yet their lack of compassion for their so-called, quote, creation, quote, parentheses, whom they may have genetically modified from the suprasentient Bigfoot slash Yeti slash Sasquatch, parentheses, allows them all kinds of mistreatment under their self-imposed laws, period. New paragraph. Other human-like species between here and Sirius B have bemoaned their treatment of their own planets and have stated that every home planet and every race must have their showdown with this race of reptilians, period. The first law in the written commandments is to have no other God, period. Complete subservience and ignorance of slavery, period. The second commandment is not to make any graven images, period. Why? Question mark. Because they are so but ugly, our children would question their parents why we worship and obey the boogeyman, period. And let's face it, comma, they only want our kids once they are out of diapers, comma, unless of course it's to rape and eat them for the adrenochrome, period. And they do have underground bases worldwide, comma. The motto of those who know being, quote, keep feeding them and they won't come up, quote, dash a type of, quote, time machine, quote, scenario that if you talk, they kill your family in front of you, period. That is how their laws are enforced on us, period. New paragraph. Why would I want to get paid with food stamps from somebody who needs them to survive and I don't? I'm not a cunt. I'm doing this to help somebody out who needs help, who asked me for help. I'm on a spiritual mission. I'm not just doing everything for money. Yeah, I'm doing free work. It's called service. You don't have to do everything for money. You can do favors for people. For something a little less monstrous and more appealing, these users and abusers will offer a more debatable form of, quote, justice, quote, to their general public, period. Specifically, a legal loophole which allows most flagrant corruption or cruel murders to run free, period. A public outcry ensues which identifies the most morally sensible resistors for the true punishment, period. Any activist learns the dangers of public demonstration, accepting those, quote, agent provocateurs, quote, who are part of the hand above the government, period. They seldom practice the morality which they espouse, and although delicate in their cover-ups, usually become isolated from all former friends and fellow cooperators, period. No matter how they dress up their homes and workplaces, comma, no one seems to hang out with them, period. Fear of betrayal, dash, the first sign of cannibalistic tendencies, dash, whether it a figurative destruction of an ally's reputation or finances or a literal drinking of their blood and eating of their flesh, comma, such as popular in isolated, quote, native, quote, communities worldwide, comma, these tribes have such a grandiose view of themselves they will accept nothing that is not free, period. They make up the, quote, law, quote, as they go along, comma, and it can, comma, and will, comma, change without notice, period. New paragraph. Arrogance. New paragraph. If you send me an email, I'll consider it. This person who I'm doing this for, I've known them for several years. So, realizing that these folks know they're above the law, their pride (parentheses pretentious or no) parentheses takes front seat. Period. The same contrived self-value that covers a multitude of injuries and almost constant pain, period. The motives of the parasite inside them may be anything from finding an additional host, parentheses, sex, parentheses, to feasting on their flesh, parentheses, food, parentheses, or their possessions, parentheses, food again, parentheses, period. Wow, that whole thing! Motherfucker! You're in class, that's right. Realizing that these folks know they're above the law, their pride, parentheses, pretentious or no, parentheses, takes front seat, period. The same contrived self-value that covers a multitude of injuries and almost constant pain, period. The motives of the parasite inside them may be anything from finding an additional host, parentheses, sex, parentheses, to feasting on their flesh, parentheses, food, parentheses, or their possessions, parentheses, food again, parentheses, period. When you realize dealing with the parasite and not the host comma, it makes dealing with their artsy superiority easier, period. Your own compassion kicks in, period. But this is what they have been hoping for, period. New paragraph. Since predators are adepts at playing the victim role and you are experience a desire to serve or help in some way, you become a causality casualty of your own kindness, period. Like a 9/11 second collapse which took out the majority of rescue workers, you must not let your actions become your swan song, period. The parasite in the predator does not desire to eliminate the prey so long as they continue serving, period. So there will be threats of devastation and war in order to keep the narcissistic supply acting in their favor, period. New paragraph. A state of semi-terror is the most desirable since the rescuer is off balance in their redemption efforts, period. Unless they consciously think the victim is scamming for the reconnaissance purposes, they will be putting their entire attention into deliverance of the quote victim, quote, period. New paragraph. Only if you have survived some of these feints and the ensuing attacks are you seasoned enough to disarm their go-to modus operandum, period. Oh, not motorcycle random, modus operandum, holy. Modus operandum. period. Only then can you show mercy from a position of strength, period. Since their cults or religions seldom advocate mercy, accepting those who sit on the judgment throne, this is a rapid in and out chore, to be compared to throwing a life jacket to a drowning person, period. This way, they won't take you down with them, as some have the tendency to buoy themselves with a kind-hearted fool, period. Shit. Those of us who are reformed predators look for mercy rather than justice due to the unrealistic expectations and slick outlook of those we would assist, period. New paragraph. Manners. New paragraph. This is really an extension of the law, since it is recognizing one's rights under the law, but sweetly and kindly coercing one to part with one's rights for trinkets, favors, or even room and board, period. Only when one looks around, sick and dispossessed, does one realize they have been lied to and poisoned to exploit their labor skills, and the gifts will be reused on someone else, period. Hey Justin, how are you? I hope your test was, you had a test, right? I hope it was good, man. I hope you did well. Hope you get a job and stuff. The smiles and kind greetings are quickly followed by taking a privileged stance and an expectation of complicity, period. What began as an invitation to friendship may turn quickly, almost imperceptibly, into an accusation of some class of moral failure, period. New paragraph. These loving faces suddenly show their true agenda, period. In the farming community, it's called animal husbandry, and it's so easy to transfer that attitude toward a coworker, an employee, a parishioner, a voter, or even a spouse or child, period. A helping hand, a cook, or especially one who dispenses food, is often the betrayer, the one who shepherds the flock members to their demise, singly, or en masse, period. New paragraph. What better, more effective executioner than one who has been providing sustenance? Question mark. Who would be more trusted to carry out the execution than the source of tasty victuals? Question mark. Many a catastrophic plague have been traced back to an obliging kitchen or feed store, period. All right, Justin, congrats. You happy? When do you start? This is one of the few acts that may assuage the predator's overwhelming envy and contempt for the vegan, period. How else can they punish the innocent for such an obvious joie de vivre, then terminate their life and feast on their flesh, period. Blech. Entire treatises on nutrition have been published to try to justify this wholesale genocide, period. Ribbit. New paragraph. Many religions and animal rights organizations have tried to bring attention to the dispassionate cruelty, the robotic rote of ritual murder, with and without identifying the perpetrators, period. Is it supposed to be rate or... Without exception, comma, the motive behind murders are, colon, quote, we all are going to die one day, dash, make use of the body, quote, period. So an entire world culture has arisen, dash, because it was, quote, cultured, quote, and fostered, dash, due to a desire not to waste, period. Admirable, admirable quality, dash, recycling, period. But not if an animal, dash, a sentient living creature who has not consented to its death. Period. New paragraph. People must be convicted morally to abet this slaughter of God's creatures, period. All objections must be eliminated with false justifications, comma, smug coercions, comma, bold-faced lies, semicolon, or, quote, accidental, quote, offing of the embarrassingly happy victim, period. It must be considered bad manners to speak of such intentions, dash, as if this type of behavior was as natural as breathing itself, period, period, period. New paragraph. The muse used by all Western religions to circumvent the arrival at an honest evaluation of their bloodthirsty plans for each other is the arrival of a savior, comma, Mahdi, or chosen leader to save them from themselves, perhaps, period. To forgive their obvious sinning and show them a new world, literally, dash, not on this planet, dash, to rape and pillage as they have done with this one, period. The Eastern religions are somewhat saner, since they are willing to accept the disastrous effects of their bloodlust on this terra firma, period. But due to their belief in rebirth, they accept their fate in the body of an animal to be preyed upon, period. Not one of these carnivorous or enslavement faiths sees a better way to work with the home we all have, period. This is the epitome of bad manners towards our most gracious host, dash, Mother Earth, period. New paragraph. A communist outlook gives the ultimate God as the hearts and minds of other people, period. Really? A communist outlook gives the ultimate God as the hearts and minds of other people, period. This prospect gives no mercy to any other creature on the planet, and this political religion shows identical trademarks of cruelty, comma, stupidity, comma, and callousness in a social setting depending on diet, period. All will blame genetics or upbringing for bad manners, but veer away from an internal stimulus that prompts their insane behavior, period. Few souls on earth will admit that something other than their own tortured psyche has control of their physical body, period. New paragraph. No one will admit such a runaway train course of living unless arrested and cuffed or threatened with a similar recognizable punishment, period. Quote, the devil made me do it, quote, is the most popular Western excuse, dash, and many times demons are blamed for poor manners when a parasite was simply manipulating a host into a more beneficial position for the parasite, period. Loss of control begs for intervention, and this can take the form of hospitalization, to incarceration, to shunning, to even ending the life of the host, period. With cannibals, their loyalty is only to their tribe, period. So an outsider instantly becomes food, unless, of course, they have great gifts and the promise of more, period. But even then, it is easy to offend the chief who can decide to eat one of his own family if they offend his sensibilities, period. The general rule being, colon, we help you, dash, we own you, period. New paragraph. So, comma, motivated by the horrors the neighboring cult or religion can inflict on one, comma, there is little wonder the average human omnivore / carnivore wants out of the torture, period. Even at the cost of the planet, comma, the living creatures thereon, comma, the loving smiles of their own family, period. New paragraph. There are no business classes, comma, no psychological ethics, comma, no religious morals that can prepare a person to triumph over the flesh-consuming slavery mentality, period. This, quote, I am superior to you in every way, semicolon, better informed, comma, better bred, comma, better looking, comma, better mannered, comma, better dressed, comma, better loved by God, period. What law can stand up against such a gang of bottom feeders? Question mark. New paragraph. Are they human or worse still, dash, can they transmute? Question mark. New paragraph. Oh, man. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 pages left. Anybody in the chat have anything to say? Robert Frank, he's the best.
Gates, who was one of the leaders, the lead figures behind this global rollout,
oh my
country
God.
after country, right?
Bill
and who
Gates.
invested in these vaccines and who bribed the media in Britain. He bribed the BBC, he bribed The Guardian, he bribed NPR, he bribed every major legacy news outlet with millions of dollars from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to, quote, overcome vaccine hesitancy. Well, the Netherlands has a new government. They're a conservative government, but they are bringing him to trial. They subpoenaed him for criminal activity in relation to pushing the COVID vaccine. And he's going to be, held accountable in Britain. That's just the beginning. As Dr. King says, the arc of justice bends slowly. I'm not getting the exact quote right, but basically justice takes a while, but you get there. The arc of the universe bends toward justice. Bends slowly,
I'm gonna cry.
toward justice. That's it.
If only it were true. What's the Martin Luther King quote? The arc of the universe bends toward justice, or the arc of justice bends slowly? Question mark. The quote by Martin Luther King Jr. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Coast to Coast is on at night when you have trouble sleeping. What's Coast to Coast? The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. The phrase means that although progress toward justice may take time, it ultimately moves in the right direction. King adapted this idea from a sermon by the 19th century abolitionist minister Theodore Parker. God damn, I want to cry reading that. The term coast to coast, broadcasts that reach the whole country like a coast to coast news show. Radio station interviews different authors. Okay. That's cool, Jody. Thanks. It's not that I have trouble sleeping. I go to bed too late because I'm in front of the screen. Like, it's 8:30 now. I gotta finish this book. At 9 o'clock, if I'm done with this, I'm gonna take an hour on my computer downstairs to read the news. Then I'm gonna come back to my phone and lay in bed, pining for some social contact. And then I'll fall asleep, and if things keep going the way they are, I'll wake up at 2:30 in the morning. And I'll say, oh man, here I am again. Same place I've been for the last 15 years. No family. My kids being raised by another man. Homeless, essentially. Jobless. Then I'll say to myself, well, you can't quit. That's not gonna get your kids back. And then I'll think, oh man, I've been here so long and I'm not making it. I have this idea that I believe, I might be crazy, I believe was given to me by God to create a brand spun off of mixed martial arts safety and into health. And I need like an angel investor, somebody with capital to invest, to really, I have the MVP, what's called the MVP. I learned that acronym the other day, MVP, minimum viable product. So what I have planned is this, I'll start reading the book again in a second. I have this. Yeah, but you got a job, Justin. You got a nice job. You got a purpose. You're helping people with their water. So I took this off of a garbage can. I put it on this big thing. I'm gonna walk across America and try to go viral with my sparring gear. Trying to change the world from doing brain injury to each other for money. Ugh. What's wrong with me? Anyway. The last hour is calling. Oh, I see. Saying call in 3 a.m. to coast to coast. All right. Not even relevant? Alright, well, would you consider teaming up with me if I can get to you? Maybe that's why you're on my channel. What do you say? Oh, there's a name I haven't seen in a while. What's up, B-Rave? Mara. Mara. I like that name. I used to know Mara. She was cute. What kind of name is Mara? Was that Hebrew or Latina? It means the sea, right? Like Mar? The ocean? Are you a mermaid? Working for your neighbor. How are you? I'm alright. Not that good. Not great, bro, to be honest. I haven't eaten since October 2nd. Sorry, 22nd. Just doing soup, broth soup, and coffee and lemon juice. And I'm doing that to, basically save my life. I'm about to go on a vision quest next week, so I'm trying to get as empty as possible. But it's like when the best I could explain it is that when you strip down all the bullshit in the world, all the distractions, I'll just say when I have stripped down, when I strip everything away and I'm left with myself, and I don't like it. I don't like I mean, it's the story of my life is like I have potential. And that's where I'm at. So, when I was 18 or 19, this was my first bout of serious depression. I dropped out of art school. I had a partial scholarship to art college. And I tried to hitchhike across America. And I spray painted or painted on the back of the military jacket that I had. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. It's just like, I mean, it's true, but I got it from the TV show Martin. It's crazy. Anyway, I am planning a cross-country tour still next week, so maybe we could link up, Justin, and
it's always interesting to
do
me
something.
to see two people that have never worked with each other before and how it ends up.
I love it. I always say I love it because you just pick up something different. And it always gets you a little tired too when you work with a new coach.
Absolutely, you want it right.
He's like, I don't have you don't have the rhythm yet. It's almost like an even nervousness too.
Yeah.
Paul Felder. Oh, this is terrible. I'm not impressed. Not impressed with Paul Felder on the pads. Ooh. Bro, I need that. I need that. Oh, shit. My neck's tight AF. All right. Let's finish this book. What's up, Charles? What are you doing? What are you up to on Halloween? Did you dress up? What was your costume? You're not going to like this if you eat meat. If legends in North America of skinwalkers are true, comma, they can transmute and infect the local population, period. European tales of Viking warriors describe rituals where the soldiers preparing for battle dress in animal skins and drink a mix of magic mushrooms dissolved in mead or honey wine, period. Legends of such battles indicate these and other warriors who indulged in these mind-altering drugs and became hyped up to commit murder could take out literally hundreds of the enemy before they could be stopped, period. Their pain thresholds were through the roof, and their motivation was to ensure the survival of their clan at all costs, period. These costs were often women and children and anything that got in the way, period. Roman monks would brick themselves into their church to prevent Viking pillage of sacramental gold, period. New paragraph. But all in common with these hired or even, quote, religious, quote, killers was an animal-based diet, period. Wormy brains were highly likely and even enabled to every extent, period. Viciousness beyond all imagination aside, comma, could these warriors shapeshift? Question mark. New paragraph. Some eyewitnesses have given convincing testimony, comma, but usually during deathbed confessions, period. As with military of all countries, their children and families will be murdered in front of them for speaking out, period. It will begin with a loss of pension benefits, parentheses, oh, comma, yes, comma, the governing power is that intelligent, comma, and experienced with keeping world military forces murdering each other instead of the true enemy, parentheses, period. New paragraph. If the target has not been convinced by cutting off financial support, they will be attacked for some duped up bank taxes, period. All the while they are being coerced to join the Little White Lie Club, and pressure is on them to engage in sexually promiscuous activity so they may be blackmailed later, period. New paragraph. To say this is a particular gang or national practice is too localized, period. These rituals and initiations are common on a global scale, period. They even have the same code names for specific acts, period. True law enforcement has made this public, but are invariably discredited through popular media, and the most decent, comma, law-abiding, comma, upright citizens are the first to be ridiculed so as to lose their credibility and their respect, comma, then conveniently murdered by the latest up-and-coming carnivore, period. New paragraph. New paragraph. New paragraph. What the fuck? New paragraph. Can the transmutation be reversed? Question mark. New paragraph. Indeed it can, period. Remembering in most religious scriptures, there are the admonishments not to begin or indulge in carnivorous activity or the consumption of body fluids of other animal, comma, and then recognizing the bold attempts of desperados to convince followers with a modicum of truth attached to a litany of murderous fallacies, comma. Then one can expel the parasites and ascend to a higher consciousness, which leads to a physical form that was originally intended by the true creator, period. New paragraph. The transmuters are not all violent in the beginning. Dash. They may be beautiful and handsome to behold at first, period. These are selected to perform the most complex psyops on the most valuable targets, period. They are in the least pain and have been raised with a sense of empirical superiority, period. So they are the most difficult to attend, period. Mostly, comma, they need arrest and intervention before they can accept their role in the destruction of human society and our planet, period. New paragraph. Studies in prisons of a vegan diet imposed on inmates for a year was promising, with lower food costs, comma, less violence, comma, and reduced recidivism, comma, but without support after release, the reversal is difficult to maintain, period. New paragraph. What is at stake? New paragraph. No bones about it. Dash. Unless they are ours. Dash. Our planet is at stake. Period. Many have written and broadcast about the intervention of the so-called visitors. Period. Their flowery language seldom depicts how dangerous these interlopers are. Period. New paragraph. We are at war with a culture that claims to have a million-year-old civilization, period. The only warning they have to give us is not to eat meat, period. Because when we do, dash, and they want us to, dash, we belong to them, period. We become too sick and stupid to think for ourselves, period. We refer to their trained agents who give pretty names to the parasitic infections which shorten our lives, so we will only be useful to them, period. This is the true meaning of prison planet, since we are allowed to live only to be of service to them, period. When they leave on their 3,600-year stint, they cull our numbers so that we will not be a threat when they arrive again, period. Hence, the wreckage of advanced so-called civilizations all over our planet that showed the promise of a golden age of self-sustaining ecological harmony, period. So long as this parasitic race holds sway over our minds, comma, bodies, comma, and culture, comma, we will always be objects of pity and ridicule to other cultures who have dealt with the Elohim/Anunnaki and gained their independence, period. New paragraph. For the record, however, There have been cultures from other star systems who have fought and died to protect our planet from the greed and cruelty of the Elohim slash Anunnaki, period. They have been trying to prevent the inevitable removal of our forests and oceans inevitable removal of our forests and oceans unless we stop accepting the poison food, drink, and air, period. Otherwise, Earth will end up like Mars, a barren wilderness with continents of rubble and no trees worth looting, and any water hidden underground from the eyes of carnivores, or a better word, vermin, period. New paragraph. Global warming. New paragraph. Oof, only a couple more pages. All right. Here we go. Powering through. Let's do this. The biggest hoax since flat Earth is the so-called cause of global warming, period. When Wormwood / Nemesis - the dwarf sun passes our solar system, which it has been doing since around 2005, the inhabitants of the most populated planet, Nibiru, the Elohim / Anunnaki - need Earth's resources, period. This includes timber and water, which is being cut down and siphoned off at alarming rates, as was done by them on Mars, period. Removal of tree cover and attendant fresh water is the main cause of global warming, followed closely by solar flares issued by our sun and theirs in their attraction to each other, period. This has been well documented by climatologists worldwide, but silenced by corrupt government officials and covered up by wars, period. New paragraph. A promise of going to, quote, heaven, quote, where the streets are paved with gold are the usual bribes, but all these traitors to our planet receive are to be shepherded to their own slaughter instead, period. Shorn of their, quote, wool, quote, which in the case of humans, is their adrenochrome, and then their flesh, as with the, quote, Lamb of God, quote, they pay the ultimate price for their calumny. Period. New paragraph. The rest of us left behind, dash, also known as the remnant people, comma, are left with ever-shrinking resources and forced to move underground as the, quote, Morlocks, quote, in H.G. Wells' dash, quote, time machine, quote, period. Those of us who remain surface dwellers are preyed upon in the same manner as the, quote, Eloi, quote, by the flesh eaters underground, period. New paragraph. So if you're wondering where this sun is now, comma, it's visible from Antarctica and on Planet X News, dash, yes, Planet X is another name for Nibiru, period. Furthermore, comma, on the days you can actually see it with the naked eye, comma, the skies will be filled with chemtrails, obscuring your view, laden with barium and other noxious poisons to deliberately keep your serval period. New paragraph. So why not stop destroying yourself with the technology they have given you and stop eating, quote, food, quote, your body is not designed to process, and you won't do things you wonder why you did, and you'll live a lot longer in peace and actual joy, exclamation point. I did it! All right, so, gosh, I finished right on time. It's 9 o'clock, so. I don't want to, but I'm going to go. Nah, fuck it. I'm not going to go downstairs. I'm just going to go to bed. Fuck the news. I'm sorry. Anybody want to say anything? Maybe I'll watch a Halloween movie on my projector. Fuck the news, right, Martello? It's Halloween. It's Halloween. I'm gonna chill out. Ooh, I got a message on Facebook. Ooh, that reminds me. I got a Samara. Okay. I used to live down the block from a Samara. Are you from the Middle East? Because that's a name from Persia, isn't it? Excuse me. Whoa, what was that? Unleash the mighty power of Mario and Luigi's brotherly bond. Alright, get my phone. Turn off the lights. Turn off the lights in here. Oh, somebody texted me. If it was Blue Agate. Oh, you live in New Zealand and the name is Hebrew. Oh, okay, Justin. Got you. Alright, thank you. Fuck. Oh, damn, I got a crush on this girl. Her name is Savannah Graham. She's a Muay Thai champion. She's so hot. All right. I just got a text message from my person or entity who sends me these news items, so I am gonna do the news. So it'll just be a quick stream end, and then the stream will be back on the computer here. Turn it on. Set up my green screen. Okay. Oh. Whoop. Light on. Hebrew in New Zealand, huh? How'd you find me? And what the hell do you find interesting about me? What's a Hebrew girl in New Zealand doing in my chat while I'm reading a book about the societal implications of people eating meat? What the actual freak? Not that I was going to go to bed early anyway, but anyway, so I don't know, come back on in a minute or two. I'll be back with the news if you care to see what's going on. Hope you enjoyed the book or got something out of it. If you want to, if you're not going to stick around for the news and you want to connect with me offline, feel free to do so on my website, masterluki.com, or just click on the About section of my YouTube channel.